Alrighty. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to my Teaching the Dailies series. Today, we have sort of a special episode. It's level 4, which means that we're going to be getting some actual fun games to snipe, and it's hopefully not just going to be some shots where it's mainly etiquette or the spy is still trying to figure out the ins and outs of the standard mode. But it's also a special day because the daily challenge sometimes has specific days where it's only going to be on one venue. And today we have my personal favorite venue, Gallery. It's my most favorite venue to snipe on, but it's also my favorite to spy on. And so I thought it would be a perfect video for today's level 4. And I figure like having the variety, doesn't really matter as much just because it's a 4 of 8 and you can see everything. And I feel like all the concepts you snipe on like gallery, like I feel like if you're a good gallery sniper, you can snipe pretty much any 4 of 8 venue and you should be okay. So I'm not too worried about only having one venue today. But it's going to teach you to kind of drill in the repetitiveness of the game. It's going to teach you to watch the same things over and over again and just install good habits. So this time, I have reviewed the format many times. I'm going to start out with the game. I'm going to snipe it, and then afterwards, I'm going to analyze it. Um, and then maybe like before a few of the games, I'll give my game plan. But assuming they're all just going to be 4 of 8 gallery and in the standard mode, there's not going to be much to talk about. So let's get into our first game here. We have Small Boom versus Hoffnung, two people who I have uh, been privileged to play. And we have the standard mode Canton Spy. It's the any 4 of 8, 21 guess, and through 45. So I'm just going to say this for the first game, and then it's going to go for every other single gallery game here. We're in the standard mode, which means that every mission has action tests, and my goal, my sort of zen for watching 4 of 8 gallery is basically just to watch hardtails and memorize everything. So you want to be watching for like fingerprints, bugs, swaps, purloins, etc. Um, in my head, seduce and contact already come off pre-checked. It's just a matter of what the spy is feeling. And maybe if I see any good examples of pathing, I think that level 4 is a good time to start talking about those. So I think for this episode, that's what I'm going to be covering. But anyways, let's get into the sniping here on 4 of 8 gallery, which should be the setup for every single game, I'd imagine. All right, so we memorize the statues, HA and AB, so HAAB, and we're watching. I'm watching the bookcases a little bit. I'm watching Purloin to make sure no one's like getting one really early right off the bat. So Teal's our first reject, and just repeat the statues to myself one more time. HAAB. I'm watching to make sure Sorry doesn't bug the ambassador. The ambassador takes a drink, so now I'm watching where the drink goes. It goes to Kane, who rejects. Or well, doesn't really reject, but doesn't take one. Zooming out for time adds real quickly. Watching to make sure there's no reverse drive-by bugs, as in they're standing still and they can bug the ambassador. And yeah, so now the print has been smudged by this SDA. Texan Sorry watch check, it looks like. Alright, and Teal now has a difficult print. So if she, gets another print later down the line, I might have to credit her with that. Oh, okay. And I actually just noticed, because throughout the game you always want to be checking statues to make sure a swap hasn't gone off.
Banana bread.
If you haven't noticed, the first statue, I'll show this real quick. What did I see before I heard this banana bread? I looked at the statues, and you can kind of see right in the middle there that it was HAAB, and it got swapped to AAAB. So you can see the statue in the first frame right here, HAAB. And so it was sort of a cheese swap. And what I mean by cheese swap is that it was done extremely early and it's extremely risky. So these cheeses are very risky moves that are either they're high risk and high reward. So you do them, they're very obvious and quick, but if you're experienced enough and you're disciplined enough, you will be able to just, keep a routine. And this whole shot, me finding this shot was me keeping my routine. I just was checking the statues to make sure they weren't swapped, And yeah, we saw that the first statue was swapped. So let's go back to the banana bread and watch from the spy's perspective to see what he does. See if I notice anything. And I'm not going to comment on this etiquette break. So normally I would say like, oh yeah, like the spy did this, they cannot do this. But I don't think etiquette breaks matter as much in like higher levels because most snipers aren't watching for it. But I think that it's a good idea to. I mean, I'm not going to say it's not a good idea to etiquette break sometimes when you want to keep, your pace up. Because a good rush is always effective, and I think it's a good time to leave conversation here and just say screw waiting because he's taking low lights for the banana bread, and while he's doing that and measuring the chaos of the situation, you already have a swap by it. If you're not dead for the swap, you're probably okay. And so yeah, he's probably gonna go inspect here is what I would do, but you don't need to. I would either focus on getting that flirt and then just going to the fourth statue, that bird statue right next to him. That way, Hoffnung knows that you're not swapping, assuming that he hasn't seen the AA statues. Yep, so I like this here. We're just going back. I would almost insta-talk just to keep the pace up because it's not like we're being watched or anything. You can see Hoffnung zoomed in, but you can kind of just assume that because why would the sniper be watching us? It wouldn't make any sense. And yeah, so we're just kind of chilling here, but our flirt cooldown reset, so obviously we can go chase down our ST here. Okay, I like it. We're finishing inspects up. I think I would have preferred to go to the fourth one instead of the third statue, but this is just as fine. I don't really see a problem with it. Okay, so we inspect, but the ambassador takes the other statue, so we're gonna have to go back for it, which is okay. It might look less suspicious to Hoffnung if we did that. So we flirt. We reject the drink from the waiter, it looks like a little bit later down the line, and we go for our last inspect here. Okay, yeah, so we only took the one from the other one. Okay, that's interesting. I assumed that he got two from the first one at the beginning, so. But yeah, it looks like Hoffnung's looking for a potential swap here. Or maybe not. Maybe he's not being suspected at all. But yeah, that was a good win. I think that like I said, sometimes you really just need to get that one hardtail across, and then normally two statue inspects will do it. So that was a good game. I think that the swap cheese paid off, and I think that was a good play. So real quick though, I'm gonna do line 0 and line and mute so I don't get any messages from chat. There we go. Okay, so we can go to the next game here. I don't think there's much to talk about. The spy, like as you can see, like as compared to like the first like 4 levels, this level definitely features some like higher level planning and thinking, and you can kind of see that the spy had a plan, and I was kind of caught on to that plan. Not during the game necessarily, but like in the replay, you can kind of see like, okay, the spy is thinking through what they're gonna do. So it's very interesting, and like you can kind of see the skill ceiling slowly, kind of slowly people are slowly getting there. So um, yeah, let's go to this next game here. Same setup. I'm not gonna talk about it. Let's just get into it. Okay, A, B, B, A. So they're swapped. They're kind of inverted. A, B, B, A. I'm watching the ambassador to make sure no bug goes off. Blink Twins the first offer. And Sorry and Seek are left and right respectively, with Kane joining Sorry, potentially flirting, and I don't think any time ads have gone off. Okay, I'm just taking the banana bread low lights. I think there's a print on the second statue, but I wasn't completely looking. You can't watch everything in the game. It's not possible, but you can at least try. So I think White Dress has the first print. I don't know if anyone else took the briefcase before that, but we'll just assume that White Dress got the print, unless, proven otherwise. Blink Twin with another reject. I think Rocker's in this reject chain as well. Blink Twin leaves. I'm watching the Ambassador still. I want to watch the fade. Okay. I got 4 more lowlights off the banana bread, and there's still no purlin that went off. Salmon's on the left bookcase is what I'm taking into account here. Ambassador's completely safe and has the briefcase, and no one's been to second statue step except Duke now, who's just now smeared it. Okay, Rocker rejects. I don't think I saw Salmon do a microfilm there.
Banana bread.
Okay, there's another banana bread, which means salmon's now another low light, and I think Rocker rejected a drink. So, do I think the spy has any progress right now? Absolutely not. I think the spy has absolutely
Banana
zero
bread.
progress. Another banana bread gets us two more low lights. I don't feel any progress here. I think it might be Plain Twin. I think Plain Twin might be the spy. Just a hunch. Okay, so I'm watching Rocker here because Smallman is definitely in a buggable position. I don't know. I don't think that was a bug. I could have missed it, but it didn't look like a crazy bug to me. So, and then yeah, statues are still not swapped. I'm watching Plain Twin here, kinda. And yep, there we go. Okay, so why did I think Plain Twin was the spy? Well, when you have so many banana breads and so many lowlights, it's extremely easy to see who's moving and who's not. Maybe the spy just figured at some point that they want to keep moving up and down, and so that's what they do. And I can't really explain this other than like it's just the pattern recognition of playing so many games where like if you see a situation like this with a bunch of lowlights, you just kind of gotta like I don't know. You're not like if you sense that no progress is going off, you have so much more time to watch other things, especially with all the lowlights that are happening in the game. So I think that it's just natural to kind of see that like, oh, this person's walking up and down because I saw them leave the back conversation, go to the front conversation, uh, and maybe not like the best pathing to just show a case an example of like an AI walking out onto the balcony. Let me see if I can find a good example here. Let's see Smallman the ambassador. You can kind of see that they just kind of have this specific path. Look at white dress. So white dress kind of hugs that door frame and then takes like a diagonal path, and it just looks very clean. And I feel like he didn't take that clean of a path, and also like he kind of looked like he was outside of like a nice perfect circle like the AI would stand. So I don't know, maybe that's sus. Maybe I got a little suspect of that, but I don't really play like I don't really try and take shots based off of pathing. But with my limited knowledge on gallery, I just kind of picked up on all these little small things that kind of drove me to the spy. But of course, it's easier for me to play the game with like 10 lowlights, I think. So it's obviously like not fair. Like at this point in time, like when Twin was like let's just go through the situation again here. When Twin was at this green bookcase, literally like there was so many lowlights around. Like all the people in that back conversation were basically low lit, and I think there was no one even near the ambassador I didn't have to watch. Toby didn't have any rejects I was watching. Statues haven't been swapped. There hasn't even been any inspects. Time as is non-existent. So I wasn't really watching it. Let's see if the spy though can end up finishing missions here. Let's see what happens. Ignores the action test, so maybe still newer to the standard mode. Okay, so this is also illegal. I don't believe that you can go bookcase to bookcase like this, even if you don't like return the wrong colored book. I don't think it's legal. But yeah, you can see the microfilm animation, and that's also what got me the shot. You see that like I don't end up taking my shot unless I have concrete evidence or like mission progress or I'm highly suspicious. That's just a hallmark of being a nice, disciplined, and solid sniper. Whereas maybe like if you're a little bit more into pathing tech, you can take some more liberal shots just because you know a lot more. I'm guessing a bug here. Okay, nice. I like the bug attempt. That's something I would have done too, maybe, but it didn't take. And it looks like we time out here. I'm guessing we purloin, try bug. We did get a bug off. For whatever reason, we take out the green microfilm and put it back, which is an option. I don't really think that like there's really that much of a use to doing that, but we ultimately could have had a mission completion here if we just took it out and didn't do anything else with it. So yeah, I think the spy maybe kind of messed up a little bit there. I think that honestly, if you're that low on time, you just need to commit to a sort of a late rush. I would have just took directly the green book to the blue book case, but that would have just been my style. But let's keep going here. Same thing, statues and Toby is what I'm probably looking for first. go. ABHA, so ABHA, 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 Blink Twin is on the right bookcase. But I can't really watch the microfilm if he's doing it, so maybe if he goes to another bookcase, I'll watch. Alice is the first take, red dress is on the left. So ABHA still, no one's outside for a time ad. Wheels rejects. Kane drops the bookcase, or the briefcase. Teal rejects. Okay, Plain Twin goes to the bookcase in the back. I think Sorry had a reject there. Wheels has the first print of the game. I feel like I haven't really been watching Plain Twin as much, but he feels like the spy again. I'm just getting that sense. Okay, so there's no Purloin to go off. Alright, I'm still taking into account for Ambassador's positioning, and I'm still trying to look. I'm anticipating a swap here. Oh, never mind. Alright, that was just me taking the Banana Bread Lolits, the people that I saw out of conversation. Okay, I know who the spy is. Um, so I think I mentioned this in level 0. I mentioned this in the level 0. Um, oh yeah, and a microfilm. See, I missed stuff too. Um, let's see, how did I miss this? Let's see. All right, let's see here. Okay, so I was paying attention more so to Purloin. I was paying attention to the reject chain and the statues, and I think I just missed Irish take a book out. I also missed Irish even go to the bookcase, I think. Yeah, and I mean, here's why I like this. Sometimes if you're just not even paying attention to this, I mean, I missed her there for like 3 seconds, and when I looked back, she wasn't there. So I just completely missed this microfilm. But it happens. I'm also talking through, so not like anything crazy. But I did talk about this in level 0 though. I'll show you the action thing in the bottom left here. See, it says waiter gave up. That's automatically illegal. AIs won't do that. So let me explain what happened here. Toby was offering to her for a very long amount of time. You can just see Toby just sitting here, offering. You need to either take a drink, reject one, or Purloin, which will do one of the two prior ones above. Okay, and I think that what am I watching? Okay, I was gonna say so another like little tidbit about the briefcase. Um, like I said, I'm trying not to talk too in depth about briefcase. I'll just do it as examples I see. So when she starts pathing to the briefcase, the briefcase is like basically right next to the ambassador. When the briefcase is next to the ambassador and you start pathing there, it's illegal. You cannot pick up the briefcase when it's right next to the ambassador like this. So this is illegal. You need to be about, I think, 1 to 2 conversation lengths away. It would look like a it just needs to look like a safe distance. Like maybe if the briefcase was on that blue pad just to like the right over there, next to that yellow painting pad on the right, um, right over there. That's what I'm talking about. If it was right on that blue pad. But I think that this is obviously very illegal, so I also would have shot this had I seen this. And we also stutter step onto the briefcase, which is why I was confused for a second. But yeah, that's also illegal. AI won't do that. They don't just stutter like that. And okay, this is wrong etiquette with the briefcase as well. You should have just picked it up, held it for maybe like 2 3 seconds, and then just put it back down because ambassadors' hands are full and they're reading a book. Remember, in a picture perfect briefcase run, you pick up the briefcase, you go behind the ambassador, and you just click return. But because that is the main goal of the briefcase, and that's what AI will do. But in this case, this is not what happens. she picks it up and just walks away with it, and you cannot do that. That is not what the briefcase is for. Yeah, and then they just put it down over there, so okay, fair enough. If you don't know what to do with the briefcase, I guess that's fair. We missed the pad, it looked like there. Okay, but we go on that statue instead. I'm guessing a swap here. You could do a swap. Oh, and a green swap. That's very nice. Nice play. But I think we ignore Toby again, so maybe Dre out has got to brush up on their Toby knowledge. And yeah, that's a win for our spy. I don't think I really saw anything else. Just went for a statue, and then we went for a purloin, and that's fair enough. But yeah, so this game I just completely missed the microfilm, and that is completely on me. But I guarantee you I would have seen this green swap later on in the game, and I also would have seen that briefcase mess up there. So I also would have found those shots. But I'm trying not to find shots based on etiquette. Whenever I feel like I take these are games that I feel like I'm getting bailed out on, kinda, because had a good spy got that transfer out off and they knew it was clean, all they had to do was inspect, and then obviously seduce and contact, and I would have lost. But we got bailed out, and this is just what separates good spies from the bad spies. So let's keep going. Same thing. Candid spy 4 of 8. Let's just go. And we have AHHB. And Wheels is the first offer who takes a drink. And we have AHB. I'm watching the bug. Rocker and Plane Twin are on the right. Okay, the first statue has a print and is also where briefcase is at. Salmon and Seek are the only ones in windows, but there's no time ad, so I don't have to worry about it. Alright, Sorry has the first inspect of the game. Uh, there's no chain right now, so it's just being offered a general. Ambaz still at the first statue, so we're going to see who goes there for a print potentially. I don't know what that was by Smallman. That looked weird. Yeah, I don't like Smallman right now. Smallman might be the spy, but we'll just have to wait and see. He could have also bugged in the back there, so I'm definitely not discrediting that. I'm almost expecting a banana bread here. Okay, White Dress takes the briefcase. Then it must have been the case that Smallman took the briefcase. Maybe put it back down? I don't know. I think Rocker also has a book I just saw at Windows, and Seek goes back to Windows as well. And Rocker's book is from the left side. And I think that was White Dress's reject, it looked like. And I've still been watching Ambassador, but I don't think I saw any bugs. Irish takes a drink. Okay, and then Rocker returns correctly, but I might have to watch for the microfilm because she went to the other bookcase at the beginning of the game, and I wasn't really watching it. So I'm watching that and watching Purloin in the back of my eye. Ambo's pretty safe right now. I don't see any motion around him, so okay. There's still been no swap. I don't think anyone has completed inspects yet. And now there's a print on the first and second statue. And Wheels has a print. And Smallman is next to Red Dress. Alright. I still think it's Smallman, and maybe Purloin is what he did. So Red Dress rejects to Kane. And Red Dress and Kane both reject. But there's still no swaps, so I'm not really, you know. Okay, Ambo's in danger next to a highlight, so I'm watching that, but I needed to see this fade if it gets taken, which we get another reject. And Disney's at another bookcase. Okay, I think, did Alice just take a drink? I don't know. No, I don't think she did. Okay, there's 4 in the chain right now. So it's Red Dress, Alice, Kane, and I think it was Wheels? So Kane rejects again. I still think it's Smallman, but I'm missing a 4th mission from him, so I'm not trying to shoot the spy is in this purloin chain, I'm gonna have a real tough time, but they're not, which makes me think it's Smallman. But what's the mission here? Yep, and it definitely is Smallman. Yeah, and he also did not even have a bug, but he had fingerprints. So I missed another fingerprint. So I did see the first fingerprint. Where was the second fingerprint? Oh, okay. That's why I thought this was so weird. Okay, I see. So I missed okay, so I had that first briefcase print. Okay, so what I missed is that Amba actually put the book back right before Smallman took it. So I completely missed this and I wasn't looking for this because I had thought that, with the timing and that what they got there right at the beginning of the game at the same time, I think I was thinking that they were just going to pick up a book while Amba was reading a book, so it was inevitable. Okay. Wow, and if Smallman had just decided to bug before he took a book and maybe I didn't catch it or something, I could have lost that. Wow. This briefcase return is not correct. Yet again, Ambo's holding something, so you would have to stop, but right about like here, I would say. I would stop and drop the briefcase because you can't return it because the ambassador is holding something. So you would have to just drop it right here, and that's the correct etiquette. And then I would walk away. This is why I thought this was weird because I think maybe I thought that so like I just talked about in the previous game, you can't pick up the briefcase when the ambo's right there. So maybe I think for whatever reason, even though ambo had a book, I thought that ambassador dropped the briefcase right there, and so that Smallman went and picked it up. And I just thought that that was very odd because I didn't think that was legal. But of course, I wasn't completely on top of it, and I'm not trying to take any shots that I'm not completely on top of, like I would in a normal game. Wow, wow! It turns out he had fingerprint done right from the beginning, and I just completely was not on this. I missed that first print completely. I had one print from him, which is why I didn't have a fourth for Smallman, because I even credited a bug. I credited a third mission, I just didn't have a fourth, but I guess fingerprint was the fourth. So I was wrong on my missions, and luckily it didn't cost me. Yeah, this path is way too wide, by the way. AI will take the shortest possible path, so... Okay, perfect, hold on. So watch Buns take a path here. This is just some introductory, like, sort of pathing knowledge here. Watch Buns, the SDA, take this path right here. Look how tight it is. Right into the conversation. Very nice and clean, but now watch Smallman. We'll watch Smallman here. Look how weirdly, like, wide and kind of takes a weird... Yeah, look at this. Very weird. Yeah, that's very weird. It's almost as if he's going to window and then changes his mind and goes to the conversation. AI won't do that. That's very awkward, and I don't think that that is correct. But yeah, we saw the whole game. Smallman didn't do anything until the end, where he just tried to bug the ambassador, but unfortunately, he ran out of time. But if it started beeping like crazy at the end, I would have shot Smallman because I knew it was him. Okay, but yeah, I actually missed that first sprint there, but we still got the shot off, and it's nice that in these like lower levels I can get bailed out by this stuff. But I'm telling you, like when level 7 comes around, I'm gonna have to maybe sacrifice some of my talking for focus just so that I could keep a track of everything in the game. But this is a perfect example of just really still being on top of everything because I should have still been watching the ambassador, and I honestly gave this up just so I could, watch everything else to make sure nothing else is going off. Because I also don't know, because like I guess if I put all my attention on the ambassador and Smallman, there's still 20 other people in the party that could do something or like that I need to be careful of. So it's just a really you're playing an odds game basically. Like it looked like AI controlled the bookcase, and it's just all luck. Like there's no way if I spent all that time focusing on Amba and Smallman, I just don't think it's correct. But in this case, it actually almost cost me, which is unfortunate, I think. But I still think in this situation, like when you just see this, like let's just kind of pause the frame here. Like Toby still isn't offering anybody. I'm still remembering statues. I'm looking at microfilm, but I guess all the visual clumping's in the back, so at least I can, still watch Smallman and keep things in frame at least. And I even had the first take with Alice and saw that there was no shenanigans going on, so. But yeah, I should have been on top of this print. This was just bad form. Okay. All right, this is an interesting setup. Um, okay, I'm just reading over the missions here. Whenever you have a wacky setup like this, any one of five guests, 215, no one plays this. And the spy is going to be abundantly obvious because whether due to some pathing or just it looks like these are all hardtails or contacts. I'm going to assume the spy is going to contact, so I mean that's just the easiest mission. All right, I don't even let's see, how am I going to attack this? I'm basically just have to watch contact and pathing and etiquette. Um So if I see anything, I'll explain it, but I'm also still gonna have to watch all the rest of the hardtails. But it's not like I have a lot to watch. It's 5 guests. That's less than balcony. So let's just go. AHAA, and the ambassador is completely safe, but it's a 50-50. So it's either wheels or it's white dress. And wheels talks. Is this gonna be the VB? No, it's not. All right, I think it's wheels. It has to be wheels. Oh no, it doesn't. No, I changed my mind. It does not have to be wheels. Alright, this is a weird game. Let me explain this shot. Um, Whiterus did something illegal here. You can't put a book back and then take it again. That's illegal. You have to move and go somewhere else. So that's all that got me the shot. And that's all she wrote. That's all I noticed. I think that the timing of the book putbacks were good, which is why I was almost like, oh yeah, it can't be white dress. Like no person this level would know that, but they proved me wrong. And there was also a microfilm, but obviously I don't have to really watch just one bookcase's microfilm, and I'm not doing that. What a weird set. What a weird game. We pick up a statue. Let's see if the etiquette's correct. Okay, it's not correct, but it's okay. The other sniper didn't notice, which is why we get to play this daily. And it's a white purloin, so maybe the sniper just doesn't know that purloin is an option here, because Wheels is not doing anything while our spy is literally taking a purloin or taking a drink. Okay, well, that was an interesting one. I don't know what to say to that, but I don't really feel like that was a very instructive game, but we learned something new, hopefully, that you cannot just take a book out and put it back. Or you can't put a book back and then just take another book. That is definitely legal. And yeah, white purloin, when you have two people to watch for it and one of them already has a drink, it's just forced to be white dress and no one else. Okay, but anyway. Okay, and this one's simplified gallery, so no action tests here, which means that everything is 10 times easier. And I'm still going to play it as if it were standard mode. It's just that I am spoiled with the mission setups or the missions because there's no green test. So I don't have to watch for green purloin. I see the list faded. That's the spy. I see someone return the wrong book. That's the spy. I can watch the ambassador 10 times easier. So that's what I'm going to do. Let's go. A B H B. A B H B. Got it. And the ambu's still in motion. The ambu's not moving. And I'm watching purloin still. I don't know where White just got this book. I think she got it from Green, maybe? I don't know. Alright, there we go. Found the spy. And how did I find this shot? Well, like I said, if I see a white fade on the purloin, that's the spy. And yep, I saw it on Tex, and Tex is dead. I'm going to speed run this one just because it's simplified and it probably isn't much to talk about. So we'll just kind of look and see what the spy does. Idles in conversation, walks to the back, gets a book and puts it back. Tries to get in the conversation but fails. checks the watch. Okay, flirts. Okay, we don't take the fingerprint. Okay, we have a contact. We bug. Okay, now you have one option. You need to just hurry up and take this book to the other bookcase. And it looks like he tried to take a book out, but he didn't actually take it out, so he failed. Not much to talk about in this game. Yeah, I would have saw this bug at the end. I would have. That's probably the only other time I could have even shot him. I honestly, yeah, I don't think there's much to talk about here. Let's just see the etiquette on the statues just for fun. Okay, yeah, very quick put back. It was centered at the chest, so it's not like noticeable if it's like, not being watched, but still very noticeable, I think if I was or like an experienced sniper was watching this game against somebody. So, let's keep going. I think this is game 7, I believe. So, less time, one less guest, should be a little easier, not crazy easier though. But let's go. HAHH, so ha HH. I'm watching bug as usual. Irish has a bug credit. That was definitely a very early bug credit. Duke is from the left. James Bond could have a reject. Sari's from the right with her book. Okay, but I mean, Irish took a drink, so maybe she's a little less sus in my mind. Taft with the first print of the game. White dress goes next to the ambassador. I'm watching the ambassador mainly here. Looks like Tex is getting offered to. Teal and Buns are on the right. Um, I didn't really watch them at the bookcase, but if they go to like the left one, I'll look.
Banana bread.
And no need to do that, obviously, just because of the banana bread. And I just took the lowlights on the people who I thought it was. Notice how Irish is still in, so she's still on my radar. Remember, don't forget about people that you sussed. And Taft, who also has the first print of the game. And it's a shame that they BB'd that at that time because I think Queen just has her second inspect. Okay, white dress is inspecting. For the heck of it, I'm gonna watch the etiquette. Okay, not horrible. Maybe a little fast, but not horrible. Okay, Irish rejects, so we will have to watch that. I believe Alice is from the right bookcase. I'm watching this fade here. Okay, Purloin didn't. Okay, Purloin didn't go off, and I don't think that Wheels swapped the statue for a white dress. So okay, we're good there. General has a correct return. James Bond takes a drink and it's innocent. I don't really know if there's any progress with the spy. I don't think it's Irish, but it still could be, of course. Irish takes a drink. Yeah, I'm not really sure the spy is right now. I don't really have any major susses, to be completely honest. I don't like Wheels just because it's Wheels and it's level 4, but that is another correct return. Duke was at the bookcase. Rocker has a reject. Okay, White just goes to the same statue that she was at, but she could still very well swap. I'm watching the Purloin fade first, though, and that is a White fade. So there is Duke, and yeah, like I said, this time I was a little bit more aware in watching him. Maybe I wasn't watching him directly at the bookcase, but I still did credit him for a microfilm, which is why I was kind of wanting to watch that fade there because I knew first of all I think Rocker was in the chain with him. Somebody was in the chain with him. I think it was Rocker though. Let me see. Yeah, Rocker. Yep, that's what I thought. So yeah, it was important to watch the fade here. If it was a green fade, Rocker's dead because I think that there was no one else in the chain. And then if it's a white fade, Duke's dead, and I saw the fade completely. And remember from my level 2 daily video that if it is a slow, kind of a slower fade, like it slowly fades out, I'll even show you it from the spy's perspective. You can kind of see that slowly fade away. That means that it is a white fade. A white test means that the spy hit a white test on it. And so when the white test happens, that means the spy just takes the purloin. And who took the purloin there? Or who took the drink? Took the purloin. They're both interchangeable for me. It's Duke. So yeah, it's funny because when I saw that Duke put this book back, I, for whatever reason, just was like, I don't even remember him having a book in the first place. So, or if he didn't have one, I just wasn't really sure like about Duke having a book or not. So I didn't really like it. It didn't mean that I was like really sus of him, but I don't know. I just didn't like it. And I at least, and I, kind of had a credit in my mind. I also didn't have any other progress. The Irish bug credit at the beginning of the game wasn't doing anything, so I wasn't sus of her. Taft didn't have any progress other than like one print. There's no microfilm. There's no microfilms I'm really worried about that I saw. Like I said, Duke was just a credit, but yeah, I don't think that there's much else to talk about in this game. I didn't even suspect them until the very end of the game there with that purloin. And even then, I suspected him a little bit for the microfilm, but like I said, I shoot for 4 missions, not 3. So if he got a bug buy, then he wins, and that's good for him. But I still remain solid, and it got me a win. It's easy to get paranoia when you're falling into the last 40 seconds of the game, and let's say you miss the taker of this purloin, you're just gonna freak out and shoot somebody random. So I think it's still nice to kind of be watching everything and not to get too paranoid. So have confidence in what you're watching. And okay, I was hoping the last one was just gonna be a normal standard setup, and it is. I I didn't want to see anything like any 1 of 5 again. So okay, let's get into our last game, Ursula versus the Sour Mango. So see what Ursula got for us on the spy side. Remember, the first name is always the spy. All right, and here's our last game. Let's go. HB and HBHA. So HB Ha. Smallman kind of instantly goes there. Seek is the first offer. I'm watching bugs here. I'm watching the people going near the ambassador. Ambassador puts down the briefcase. Okay, sorry, Salmon and Duke are all on the right. I'm watching Ambo right now, by the way. Okay, so he gets the first print. A lot of statue visitors. This could be a green swap from Smallman here. I'm going to try and get a look at the Vade, but to no avail. There's no good angle for it. Okay, perfect. So why am I low lighting every single person but Plane Twin and Smallman? Because the statue was swapped. Remember, it was HB Huh, and let me just make sure the purloin's there. Okay. Remember, it was HB Huh. I think he was actually at the green bookcase, so I'm gonna watch Smallman rejects. So remember to keep that in mind. I'm just making sure Twin's not gonna take a book here or take a microfilm here. Remember, Smallman has a reject, so if Purling goes off, it's him, but it doesn't. And they go right next to each other. And they both also have inspect, so it's gonna be hard if they both go to the first set of statues. I remember, I'm still watching Prince too, by the way. Don't forget to watch Prince. So Amba's at green bookcase right now. And I think that it's a dead case because somebody already took the case. I think it's Smallman. I think it was a green test, but we'll just still have to wait and see. All right. So Smallman now takes his second inspect, but remember that there is no banana bread, so we don't have to shoot. I'm watching Twin to make sure he doesn't bug. I'm now watching Smallman to make sure he doesn't bug, and he doesn't. At least I don't think so. So right now you can just count the missions Smallman has. I don't know about Flirt, so we'll say he has Flirt. And then he has Seduce, or he has Inspects and Swap. So we're watching the bug. He leaves. Does he try to bug? Nope. All right, and Twin goes to the same set of statues, which means that he cannot complete Inspects. I'm expecting a banana bread here from Smallman, because he's in with a yellow triangle. And I'm going to shoot him, because it'll be his 4th mission. Oh, but anyway, like I was saying earlier, the reason why I knew it's only down to these two is because, remember...
Banana bread.
Okay, yep, there's banana bread, so... We'll low light him just for fun, and then bye-bye. And that's for our 8th win. It always feels nice shooting Smallman. Feels nice shooting Smallman, especially for our 8th win. So remember, so how does a green swap work? Well, a green swap, the spy when he hits a green swap, uh, it doesn't swap immediately, so we'll put the statue back, and after that, he walks away, and then another AI gets called to it. And the fade is like a near instant fade, which is why when I saw that twin went there, remember it calls an AI to the statue eventually, barring a few little circumstances, which if it happens in the later levels I'll talk about. But it calls a near AI to the statue. So like if it happens kind of soon after somebody has been to the statues, typically like that sets alarm bells ringing in my mind that okay maybe a swap has gone off and I maybe need to watch it. And that's what happened here. What ended up happening? Let's watch again. So yeah, Smallman took his first inspect here. I saw that there was no swap, and look who gets called to it. Planes when he was right in the area, and he goes to it. And that automatically sets something off in my mind, like, okay, maybe it's a swap. So I wanted to try and see if I could see the swap, but while not compromising anything else. And the swap goes off while it's ahead of his shoulders. And then I did see a little bit of the statue, and I saw it was swapped. And so remember, um, you can low light anybody who hasn't been to that statue. And so why did I take all those low lights? Well, that's why. It cannot be Plane Twin and it cannot be Smallman. Or it has to be either Plane Twin or Smallman. It has to be one of them. And now, typically, if someone has 2 inspects, they're probably going to finish them. So the roughest thing for me would have been if they both went to the other set of statues at like the same time or like at different times before the BB and then we're in the same BB conversation because then at that point it's a 50-50 unless I was watching pathing and etiquette, which I really wasn't. I mean, I can, but that would I in this series I'd consider that cheating for myself because I'm trying to, install good habits in people who are watching, but anyway, so yeah, this game goes on and we did a diligent job of watching them too. And like I said, when Smallman went to this statue pad over here and finished inspects, I took note of that. And as a beginner sniper, you might be panicking and you're gonna instantly shoot Smallman, right? Like you're like, oh, it has to be Smallman. Like why else would he go to statues? But that's not the case because Twin could have just as easily went to the other statue kit or the other statue pad and finished inspects. And so like you're shooting based on a bias. You would think that it's the first person that goes there, but you don't actually know if that's person. You don't even actually know if that's the person or not. You don't know if that's the spy. So why did I not shoot here? Well, because I didn't hear a BB yet. There's no contact double agent mission done yet. Meaning that at most, if he has seduce done and he like rushed seduce and hit 2 green tests, which it looks like he hit a white test and a green test, then he'd have 3 missions, but he doesn't have 4. He doesn't have that 4th mission, which is the contact. I have the swap, I have the inspects, and I have seduce, but obviously no Perlin's gone off. He hasn't even been to the back bookcases, so that's off. I've been diligent about watching Bug very hard. There's no Bug. Plus, I don't even think he was near the ambassador at the beginning when he was in danger, and also after I saw the swap happen, I don't even think he went even near the ambassador. So Bug hasn't happened, and what's the only other missions that haven't been watched yet? Contact and Fingerprint. He hasn't done Fingerprint. I'll just say that. So it's down to Contact, and there's no Contact because he would have heard a BB, which means that at most he has 3 missions. And so that's how you can kind of discern whether or not you should take a shot. There's no need to shoot yet, right? Like there's like yes, you can say that he's the number 1 sus, and that if they're both in for banana bread, maybe then it's a hard shot, right? But let's take a look at what happened. Plane Twin is at the first set of statues over there, and a BB goes off. Now, you can only BB if you're in a conversation, which congratulations means that Smallman is the only person who could have done both the banana bread and the swap. But obviously like you're not going to learn anything if you get like these easy situations. So what would have happened? What would I have done if Smallman still had those inspects, but at the end instead of the other let's say like the twins swapped places just in this frame right here. Let's say that Bling Twin is where Plane Twin is, and Plane Twin is where Bling Twin is. A BB goes off, and both statue susses are in the BB, and one of them has inspects. Now, if you don't know anything about etiquette or pathing, it may seem like, oh, well, Smallman has to be the spy, right? And yes, 90% of the time, that's probably the case. But it could also be that Plain Twin is framing Smallman. So then, once you have that fear, it kind of almost boils down to a 50-50. It looks as if Smallman and Plain Twin are in the same BB, but one of them has mission completions. And that's stressful. That's a hard shot to take. And so that's why I think that you also still have to pay attention to behavioralism. When you have a 50-50 situation like this, you have to pay attention to etiquette, behavioralism, and pathing. And you're going to be in these hard situations. Luckily, we got off the hook easy here. Plain Twin just went to the second statue. Plain Twin went to the second statue, or the first set of statues that he already inspected, which means that he wasn't finishing them up. And it also seemed like Smallman didn't really know who like swapped for him, and so he just takes this BB here with throwing caution to the wind, and he knocks out the only other sus if you kind of were on top of the swap at the beginning of the game. So we had it easy. So let me just kind of, gather all my thoughts again and just reiterate what I just said, because I know I kind of took you through a complicated line of thinking. Um, this shot was easy because the other person was out of the contact, but what if they were in the contact, right? Plain Twin gets his potentially third mission. Smallman gets his potentially fourth mission if he's the spy. And so who do you shoot? And do you shoot? And sometimes, believe it or not, you'd be wrong in shooting Smallman here. But I would say that 99% of the time, or no, we'll say like 95. We'll go 95% of the time. You're correct. I mean, the first person that's going to finish inspects go right to a yellow triangle circle. He was the first one who went to the yellow triangle circle, which is also more sus. Uh, like for example, I don't really think it's like for example, if he was the first one that went there and then Plain Twin went there, and then you hear a BB, I still think maybe it's Smallman. But you can make a case for either way. I'm just saying though, this is why you need to know etiquette and you need to watch pathing and maybe some behavioral tells, because sometimes these shots can get pretty difficult and it can be hard to discern which is the right one. I think that this was very, very instructive. Like, I mean, situations like this happen at the highest levels all the time, and in comp games, where you're down to a 50-50, say on Terrace, and there's been like a delegated purloin, and you just get stressed, and you don't know what to do, and you know you take a shot, and it's not the right one, but it seemed like it made sense because they finished missions. My main point is just that Plain Twin could have finished missions at the same time. Like Plain Twin could have went to the same set of statues that Smallman went to, and they both could have been in the same BB later on in the game, and you would have had to take a rough shot. It would have been a 50-50. Who do you think was more sus? Who do you think behaviorally was a spy? And who do you think kind of had worse pathing? That's all down to a calculated guess that you're thinking about after that last BB goes off or whatever fourth mission. Okay, so with that in mind, I want to go through a real comp example that I have. So let's see our results first. Of course, we went 8-0 again. Uh, I think so far we've only had one loss in the entire series, which makes sense. I think the other loss was a pretty hard setup, and the spy played it very well. But there's another 8-0. So I want to take you guys into my replays, and I'm going to find a game real quickly. Okay, so this is me versus Pofke in the Twinlight Zone. It was in the not like it's not semifinals, but it was kind of in the second group stage where two people advance into semifinals from each group. So there's a total of 8 people left in the competition, and two people advance. And this was not really a must win, but it was my first match, and I really would have liked to win. So as I just said, sometimes you have a very difficult 50-50, and if you're up against an experienced player, well, it's kind of hard to, um, it's kind of just hard and difficult to, uh, it's just hard and difficult to discern which one is like the spy, right? Because if you're in a 50-50 with delegate, this happens the most on terrace, by the way, which is why I thought of this example. It's the perfect example because it illustrates like knowing how to try and calculate a guess if they both are kind of doing the same things. And I think that this is an instructive example, and I feel like I'm rambling, so I'm just going to go into the replay. But I'm going to do it as sniper, and I'm going to let you guys watch the game, and I obviously know what happens, but I'm going to talk through the game as if this was a daily, and then I'm going to talk about it afterwards. So let's go. We have AH and AH. So the ambassador's in like no danger at all. We have general at the bar, and teal has an inspect on the left side, and queen goes next to teal. And terrace 2, you like to flirt pair and watch seduce. And remember, this is a competitive level game, so there's going to be no etiquette breaks that I'm watching. I'm only memorizing. So there is a print on the third statue. General goes into the front conversation, and this is important because if he delegates to somebody, I know where his positioning is at. There's now a print at bar. There's no print from briefcase to any AI that aren't seduced. I'm watching to make sure teal, seek, or text can't bug as the ambassador's walking past them. Uh, so it looks like general just delegates to teal, and queen also has a print and a drink, so I'm watching her positioning. And oh look, purloin goes off. You can see that the ambassador didn't take back the right rectangle. So we can now low everybody else. And now we're in a 50-50 like we were the last game. But except this is an experienced spy, and it's terrorist, and there's mind games. So they both have one mission. Obviously, the second mission comes checked, which is seduce. And as you can kind of see, uh, there's not really any seduce that anyone has. Right now, Rocker could only, or Teal can only be flirting with Rocker. And General goes back to bar, which is not very AI-like, or not very spy-like. Why would you go back to the bar if you're already purloined? So let's see what happens. The path looks okay, but it looks like a little wide entry there into the conversation circle, and I did notice this in the game, but it wasn't a massive one. And notice that teal is in the yellow triangle circle.
Banana bread.
They both sip BB, as in they both hit a green test on a BB potentially. But now teal has a real BB. So if I thought that teal had flirt here, she'd be done with missions. She has 3 missions: purloin, contact, and seduce. And then she goes next to Rocker again. I'm watching General, so he doesn't bug, but he can't because he has a drink in that arm. And oh look, what's about to happen. Teal is talking next to Rocker, which means maybe she has flirt done. But then she walks away, which I think is weird. I'm like, why would you walk away after you flirt? That doesn't seem spy-like at all. And she takes a drink, and yet again, why would you go back there? Remember, General still doesn't have a real BB, so I'm not worried. And Teal probably should have won by now, but then she goes back in the same conversation with Rocker.
Banana bread.
And then there's another BB as soon as Teal gets into the conversation. And I shoot General. And if you see, he has Purloin, Seduce, and Contact. Alright, let's go through this game, and let's see why, why? What allowed me to hold, what on God's earth allowed me to hold this shot here against Teal, who looks like the spy for the majority of that 50-50 situation, and then kind of just throws away that perception as soon as, like, the last 50 seconds come. So, I'm on top of everything here, but I'm not watching flirting, right? Like, I don't know who's Teal. At this point in time, I'm not really heavily watching flirts. I just know that there's 2 people with statues who maybe are flirting with each other. I know that General has a drink. I know that there's no bugs, and I know that Amba has 3 prints out, like, right now. But one of them got taken by the DA, and one's still sitting on the statue, and Queen's about to take another one. And I know that General hasn't delegated yet. But as you can see, Teal goes right next to General. doesn't talk, but of course I don't see this in the game until now. Now I'm conscious. Now I'm like, okay, I saw that send. That looked like a send, but what you can do as the spy is you can like basically go right when they start talking to the bar and take the drink, and that's why it looks like a 50-50, which is why then you have to start like establishing behavioral tells, pathing, etiquette, etc. All right, so I saw this, and in the game you can see that I had the same reaction I did when I was just sniping it for you guys. Even though I know what happens, I'm just repeating it. I lull at everybody. And the highlight on teal means nothing. I highlight for statues, as you guys have seen in my games, in the dailies. There's nothing wrong with that. And so this doesn't really show how... I'm not suspicious of teal. If teal sipped the drink quickly and then went to the other statues, I'd probably be like a little bit more suspicious of her, but as of right now, I'm not. Right now, I don't know who the spy is. I have no idea, and only time will tell. Pofke has 43% of the flirt, so not really that much flirt progress. Teal could have been flirting with Queen. I knew that, but I don't really know. But like I said, I wasn't watching flirt that hard. So like when you get to this point in the game, you don't know what flirts you missed, and you don't know who is flirting next to who. Like for example, Teal could have been General's ST for all I would have known. It's just a hard. It's just hard. It's just hard when you don't know. Like I'm saying this with 100% information, but at the time I didn't know who Teal was flirting with. I didn't know who General was flirting with, and I only knew that they were both in this purloin, and I then just had to basically, wing it. But let's keep watching. And then yeah, I also thought I was like, there's no way a spy would go back to the bar again, so this lowered my sus on General a little bit. And then I saw that path in the conversation, and originally I thought it looked good, but upon like completely watching it, upon like rewatching it, like what I know, does look a little wide, but that's okay.
Banana bread.
And right there, this is a little trick that spies like to do, and this only really works at the higher level. I mean, newer snipers aren't really going to be watching for this, but you can, you're allowed to banana bread during a sip animation, and if it's a green banana bread, then you won't break your sip animation. So what happens is that most spies are like, oh, they were sipping during the BB, so it can't be them, but that's wrong. You can green BB and you can also sip. But if you hit a white test BB and you're in the middle of your flirt animation, it breaks the animation and you're obviously the spy. So Poppy took a risk here and sipped at the same time as Teal and did a green banana bread, making it yet again they do the same thing. So like there's not really a behavioral tell for me to like parse because they both did the same thing. But General did it second, which is maybe a little bit more sus thinking back on it, but I don't think I thought of it like then. At, at the time I was thinking like, oh man, they did the same thing. I still don't know who the spy is. And you can see that I really wanted to shoot Teal because I'm like, I don't know about her flirt progress. She's in the same conversation again with Queen, and now she's going next to Rocker again. But I didn't, for whatever reason in this game, I did not feel like Teal was the spy. I thought it was General. General felt like the spy, and I think I was just determined to hold no matter what, even if Teal looked like the spy. You can see this other talk from Rocker, and if I was completely on top of the flirts here, this wouldn't have been mission completion for Teal, so it would have been a good hold. But you can see that right here, I'm thinking about still shooting her because I'm like, well, this could have been another flirt that I'm missing, and it could have been with Rocker. But it's still not that simple. But then she leaves, and uh, this was casted by Rob and Wrestler. Rob is one of the best snipers in the game, and he kind of said something that I agreed with in the game when I was in the middle of it, that like, what spy gets in the Michelin countdown and then walks away to bar? That just is like not spy-like at all. And after I waited 10 seconds, there was no mission completion, which meant that I was allowed to wait for Teal to do another talk, or for General to maybe BB while Teal wasn't in that same conversation. Because remember, he doesn't have real BB yet. He doesn't have a third mission.
Banana bread.
There's this second mission that I can see right now, but in the game it could have been his third mission. And I shot him because I was like, that easily could have been his third mission, and you can see that I needed to shoot him there. Because if I waited until time ran out, I would have lost. Because mission countdown would have been at the same time as 0 seconds hit the clock, and I wouldn't have heard any overtime beeps. So I would have lost. So I needed to take the shot here, and I did. So taking this back to the gallery game on our last level, or on our last game of the daily level 4, um, you can see how hard the shots get sometimes. Sometimes it's not just like, oh yay, like they're outside of BB and clearly like this is a spy. Sometimes you really have to be still watching them. You can't like rest on your laurels waiting for that fourth mission because what if they're in the same BB? Okay, so I shoot Pofke's general and pick up my win. And this was a very good win because it kept the game balanced. I think this was 2-2 after that shot, and it still allowed me to hold on to a tie. But it was a very strong, very, very strong spy game from Pofke. He tried all that he could to kind of mind game me into shooting teal, and when I didn't bite, I was able to find the shot. And this is just kind of like the level of like depth and nuance that you can get at higher levels of SpyParty, which is what I'm hoping that I'm communicating well to you guys, is that like these games are like not simple. I mean, this is one sniper game at the higher level, and the amount of mind games and thought processes and plays that were made by both sides in this game, it was just kind of a masterclass of good SpyParty. Not to toot my own horn, of course, but I'm just saying like this is pretty like it's advanced. Like a newer spy wouldn't have even saw the purloin. So I think that it's a very instructive game. I think Pofke played it perfectly, but perfect play favors the sniper. So, and I think that this is showcased in this game. And I think this showcases my point well in gallery that like sometimes you just need to start watching behavioral tells. You need to be watching, etiquette and pathing. So, I think that that's all I wanted to talk about with that game. It just reminded me of it because I saw that game on gallery, and it kind of got me thinking about this kind of 50-50 scenario. Sometimes they get pretty tense, but I think that that is going to wrap it up for this video. Yet again, as always, I want to thank everyone for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this special edition of Gallery, and I hope you enjoyed this example from a real game that I had. Um, Remember, if you guys are interested in ever learning about more about SpyParty, you can go to the SpyParty Discord. Um, Talk with some higher level players. You can always, friend me on Discord. It's just AstatineEffect, as you can see in the top of the screen right there. I will try to answer any questions on the video, but as you can see, like the game starts getting a lot more uh, depth once you start getting into the later levels, and the games aren't easy. Spies get better, and your sniper has to kind of keep up. So, with all that being said, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in level 5. Cheers.